I let my mom be homeless for 23 nights. I am a terrible daughter. I am 23 years old. My mom is 52. My mom has been depressed for years. I haven't spoken with my dad since I was 14. He remarried and moved in with his new wife and 2 kids, and my mom became a single parent. I definitely struggled with depression growing up. It's starting being very noticeable at 10. My mom always tried to cheer me up. She would bring me my favorite things, favorite food. She would compliment me. She would give me time and attention. We would hang out and go shopping and biking and walking. I have always loved my mom. She has been my best friend and favorite human. My confession is that I betrayed her. I hurt her deeply. I failed to protect her. I made her feel like I didn't care about her at her darkest time, and I am being eaten with guilt every day. Once my mom became a single parent, and we both knew I had detached from my dad, we ended up moving. We moved a lot for several years. We lived in one different province around 5 different cities, and just lived pretty nomadically for a while. We had a lot of fun and adventures, but also a lot of hardship and mental illness and loneliness. I know this took its toll on my mom mentally. It took its toll on me mentally too. And I know I wasn't as mature as I should have been. I wasn't clean enough. I didn't mature fast enough. Right at the start of the pandemic, I think I was 18. My mom and I were living in a busy city in a little apartment where the ceilings were infested with noisy birds and the neighbors and landlord were awful. I had just lost my job because of all the closings of places due to COVID-19. My mom was openly suicidal at this time. I didn't know how to help her, but I did know she needed help. We both did, really. My mom was so miserable and said she wanted to sell everything and get tents and go back to out hometown to live in tents. I thought she was kidding at first, but then she started watching YouTube videos and sharing them with me, and we actually started to come up with a plan to how we were going to do this. We bought tents. We got rid of most of our stuff, and the rest we put in storage. We had a friend of my mom's drop us off in a small city just outside of my hometown, and we set up our tents and had our first night outdoors. I think we were homeless together for 2 weeks. We were outside all the time. We would wash up in public bathrooms. We would suntan and hang out in parks during the day and find somewhere private and quiet to set up our tents at night. We got caught in an awful storm one night. It was scary as fuck. Eventually, we checked into a hotel and stayed there for a while. At around 20, my relationship with my mom was more strained, and she was wanting me to move out. I eventually got my own room rental and a full-time job, and I thought things were actually getting better. I was making friends, or so I thought, at work. My mom had her own 1-bedroom apartment and seemed to be happy to be an empty nester. I would visit my mom 2 or 3 times a week and bring her gifts/groceries. I had just discovered online shopping and loved giving her cute stuff I found online. She would cook for us and feed me and give me little gifts, and we would talk. I am embarrassed to say I would fall asleep on her couch a lot. I was working 2 jobs at the time, and once I sat down I'd feel so comfortable I'd just fall asleep. It was rude and probably made my mom feel lonely and unimportant. I feel like I have been such a narcissist. In 2023, my mom had a mental breakdown. She had been going through perimenopause, and I knew it had been rocking her world and she was struggling, but I really didn't understand where she was at. I should have done more research. I should have been more empathetic. In the summer of 2023, she told me she was moving back to our hometown. She said she was going to stay in a hotel, one we had used to live at together for over 2 years, and look for a rental. I wasn't thrilled about this. I wanted us to be in the same city, and I liked my job and felt I had friends. I wasn't ready to move. And at the same time, my mom was saying she didn't want me to come with her. She actually told me I was one of the reasons she was leaving. She was really angry at this time, which in hindsight I really think it was hormonal and due to perimenopause. She told me I wasn't allowed to say I would miss her. I helped her get some of her stuff ready and came to say goodbye on her last day in the city, but I annoyed her because I was talking about my friends and about going to their place later. She actually told me I had to leave. Once she was back in our hometown, she did stay in the hotel and look for rentals, but she didn't find anything. Eventually, she told me she was going to go back to living in a tent. I tried to convince her not to. I asked her to move back to the city I lived in. I asked her to continue staying at the hotel. She had money. She could have, but she didn't. She bought all the stuff she needed and stayed outside in a tent for 23 nights. I let my mom be homeless for 23 nights. This is my confession, and it's eating me alive. I literally can't sleep because I can't stop thinking about this. It's why I have to write it all out. My mom was outside and alone for 23 nights. I texted her the whole time, but it took me too long to go to her. It took me almost 20 nights just to go visit her and bring her things. She was so angry at the time. One of the reasons I didn't go to her right away is so shamefully because I was scared of her. She was telling me to fuck off and saying she hated me. She told me not to come and said she would be pissed if I did. She said she wanted to be homeless and wanted to be free, and now was her chance to do it without worrying about me. Now I know she was lying. I should have known then. I should have seen my mom's behavior for the warning sign it was. She needed help more than ever, and I let her chase me away. She was still texting and calling me. I should have asked a friend to drive me and forced her to come back. I should have stayed in the city and begged her to come back. I should have stayed with her. It took 23 nights. 23 nights she slept outside alone and went through rain and loneliness and feeling like she was abandoned. After 23 nights, she finally agreed to let me and someone I knew at the time to go get her. I found her a room rental. I set it up for her and got the key and made sure she had bedding. That ended up being its own disaster. Now we are back to living together, and she hates me. She is trying to forgive me, but she can't believe how I reacted, and neither can I really. I failed her. She was there for me emotionally and financially all my childhood. Gave me so much love, and I hurt her. I don't know how to live with myself. Sorry, this is so damn long. I've never posted about this before. I just can't get it out of my head. I just don't know what to do. My confession is I'm a terrible daughter.